Here we go. All right, welcome people. I'm gonna welcome Myron Golden, rocking and rolling.
All right.
All right, welcome Myron.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Cool. Can you see me? Not yet.
Not yet. There he is.
How about now?
Much better. This is great.
Cool. And I
Great
wanted to
to
be here. Rob, can you zoom in just a smidge? Yeah. Great to see you.
yeah. You say zoom in a little bit.
No, not you. I was talking to.
Oh, okay, great.
So
Sweet. I love how prepared you are. You have the big award plaque in the back.
Oh, it's just this is where I shoot videos. So, yeah, we
Love
got
it.
the two Comma Club X there. We got the two Comma Club over there. Some newspaper articles, some whatever, kind of social
That-
proof stuff.
Yeah. So that means $10 million in sales.
Yeah, that's it exactly. Can you hold on 1 second for me? I just
Sure.
realized I didn't put my computer on Do Not Disturb. And as sure as I am standing here, somebody's going to call me.
I know how that is. I'm gonna make sure we're undisturbed on my end as well.
And did I bring another phone in here, Robert? No, the gold one's in my office. Okay. So I'm going to make sure my phone's on Do Not Disturb. My computer's on Do Not Disturb. So we will not be disturbed. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. So, tell me about your podcast.
Yeah. So it's used to be called the Conscious Entrepreneur Podcast, and it's been an evolution.
Mm-hmm.
So we're already streaming into the high ticket client creation community.
Oh, we're streaming live right now.
Yeah, we're already in the game.
Y'all.
It's all perfect. So there's a group of our listeners who are my private clients, and they'll all get access to the recording of this. And then there's a large group of entrepreneurs from various stages of their development. Many still finding their product to market fit and finding the proof in their business, and then others who are looking to launch high ticket masterminds and coaching programs. Mm-hmm. Many of them already are doing master classes or live events, and some are just starting out to figuring out even where to begin. And so I'm really excited to speak with you, Myron, because I've seen you speak with my buddy and mentor, Eli Wild, who is a legend. Yeah. So who's a legend in the field. And so are you. So you came highly recommended, and I knew you'd have some value bombs to drop. I've already learned a lot, and you've accomplished a lot. I mean, Russell Brunson says that it was a great investment to have you part of his team, and you supported his stages. I'd love to learn a little bit about that, how you did $3.2 million in 30 minutes. That's really...
it was 3.8, but
yeah, okay.
It was 3.8. But yeah, in 27 minutes, it was a very, very fun and remarkable experience, to say the least.
Yeah. So that's the group, and they're very heart-centered entrepreneurs, people who care about making a difference in the world. And also many of them are mindset experts, because that's my background, So and when you talk about NLP now, one of the things I admire about your style of presenting, Myron, is you do belief change, and I mean, which is an amazing service to people with their programming. And I'm super selfishly curious really about how you mastered this craft, and really how you transform beliefs in a conversation, or at scale in a one-to-many conversation. So I would just love to dive right in, if that's cool with you.
Hey man, let's go, bro.
Let's do this.
And you pronounce your name Miro, right? Miro the Hero.
That's right. Dude, how did you know?
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
You're doing great. Love it. So so big thank you for showing up. And I think savage question I would love to ask: what is one thing that most people maybe not know about you in the online space?
Oh man, I'm sure there are many things. I don't know. I love to play golf. Maybe that might be one. Mm-hmm. I'm a new grandfather. I've got a 16-month-old granddaughter. That's like cloud 17 and a half.
Yeah.
So, those are some things that
Yeah, that's lovely. I think it's worth highlighting. You know, I had an exercise about getting in touch with my own mortality. I think it's something that everyone should do at some point. And when we realize like what's really important in life, that it's finite, kind of who is important in your life becomes more important than all of the things that we attribute a lot of value to.
The who's are more important than the what's, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's all about having the right people. So, you know, I'm going to ask you a lot of selfish questions and then some questions from my audience as well. Is that cool?
Hey, bro, do your thing. I'm here for you and your audience.
Love that. Love that. So if any point, guys, if you're tuning in, you have questions or getting some value, drop a hashtag value and drop your question. Maybe we'll have some little Q&A towards the end if that works for you, Myron.
Are you sure? Sure. Are you in a Facebook group?
Yeah,
Okay. Would you? Is it? Am I allowed to be a part of that Facebook group or no? If not, that's
that will
fine.
be $10,000.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I'll
I can't.
invite you
I
to the
can't.
group.
I can't hate you for it, bro. I can't hate you for it. Mad respect, right? Mad props. Respect. Respect.
It's perfect. Now I just dropped the link here in the comment box so you can join anytime.
Oh, okay. Cool.
You're an honorary member now.
Okay. Cool. I love it. And I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, we have 800 conscious entrepreneurs in the group, and we're growing. A small little community. Many of them we've had private chats with and live events. We have an event coming up on December 11 where many of us are going to be hanging out.
Oh, cool. So, do I need? You want me to answer these questions?
I can read questions for you, so you can say present, and then when it's time to
Yeah,
when it's time to do Q&A, I got you.
that's fine. I'm gonna stay focused on what we're here for right now. I've already got that.
Perfect.
I can do that later. Okay, so let's go, man. Let's bring some value to your peeps.
Let's do it. So you know, one of the things you love talking about above all else, you talk about having the right offer, having the right marketing message. What are some of the absolute basics people have to understand when it comes to making millions from stage?
Wow, that's a couple things. One, it's easier. One of the things that's probably hard for people to believe is that it's easier to sell to a group of people than it is to sell one-on-one. So it's easier to sell one to many than it is to sell one-on-one, especially if you're in an environment where you can pick up feedback energy. So feedback energy is like you can see their facial expressions, you can tell when they're getting what you're saying, you can tell when they're not getting what you're saying. So if you're in an environment, whether it be a physical live event or whether it be a virtual event in Zoom where you can see people's faces, it's really easier to sell a lot of people than it is to sell one-on-one. And the reason that's the case is because of a concept called the law of consensus or the law of popularity. And that is everybody wants to do what everybody's doing. Nobody wants to do what nobody's doing. So if you can help, if you can get one person to start leaning in and you can focus on that person, you'll reflect that person's energy on everybody else in the room. And then now everybody starts leaning in. And then if you can get one person to move, that one person will get another person, that other person will get another person, that other person will get another person. So selling one to many is really a lot easier than selling one-on-one. And a lot of people wouldn't know that. Most people think, well, yeah, but I don't want to be, I'm scared to speak in public, right? So you probably have some people in your group who like that makes them nervous, but people don't even understand why public speaking makes them nervous, right? And I believe I know. In fact, I have cured some people's fear of public speaking in front of 100 people, 500 people, and I brought them up on stage and cured. When I say cured, their fear of public speaking, like really just eliminated it on the spot. And that's and the real thing that people are afraid of. They think they're afraid of public speaking, but they're not afraid of public speaking. What they're really afraid of or have anxiety about, they're not even afraid really. They have anxiety. What they really have anxiety about is they don't know what's going to happen. So when they become clear on the outcome, from the onset, then they're no longer nervous because they already know what's going to happen. And when you understand like communication, which is the second highest level of value, when you understand communication at a high level, then you can communicate in such a way where you create the outcome that you desire. You actually produce that outcome via your communication.
Amazing.
So
tons of value already right there, right from the start. Thanks, Myron. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit on this concept of kind of selling without selling, and then also I want to come back later to the belief change, like hearing people's fears, especially the fear of public speaking, and So maybe let's start with the fear of public speaking. So I'm guessing you have some kind of transformational modality or skill set or some kind of practice that you walk people through. You work on yourself. Like, what is your mindset practice that you work on with yourself and then with your clients as well, or that allows you to help people cure them of the fear?
Well, I don't see, a lot of people don't know what's going to happen in themselves. Like, they're afraid. Okay, they're like, they've got this anxiety. But what if I get on stage and I've got this presentation and I look out at the people and I see the lights in my face and I forget what to say? Well, I don't have that because I'm never worried about what to say. I know that the message that is in me will manifest for the people that I am in front of when I am there, because, and it's not magical, it's because I have prepared myself for the moment. I am first a student. I'm second a student, I'm third a student, fourth a student, fifth a student, sixth a student, and then seventh, I'm a teacher. So I learn, implement, teach. I don't like learn, teach. I am a perpetual student. So, and I'm a perpetual scientist. And by scientist, I don't mean in a laboratory. I mean, I'm always testing the ideas that I'm learning to see if they ring the bell of truth. If they ring the bell of truth, then I know I can put that into my repertoire of things that I do. See, a lot of people don't realize that, oh, I forgot, that's wrong marker. So let me get my tools straight here. So a lot of people don't realize that everything that's true is not truth. And the place a lot of people get in trouble is they will apply a truism that's no longer true. So here's what I mean by that. Like, true is dynamic. What's true can be dynamic. In other words, it can change. What's true doesn't change. What doesn't stay the same. Like right now, today is, Rob, happy birthday, bro. I just thought of that. My brother's here. It's his birthday. And I didn't even call him. And I thought about it all day yesterday. Anyway, today's December 1st.
Happy birthday.
Today's December 1st. 2020, right? That's true, but it's not true. Because tomorrow it won't be December 1st, 2020. So just because something is true doesn't mean you can build a superstructure on top of it, because if it changes, you can't build anything on top of it. So one of the things that people do is they'll try to build a superstructure on top of tactics. But tactics are not truth. See, truth is static. It never changes. For instance, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. That doesn't ever change. The sun says, well, today I think I'll rise in the west and set in the east. No, it doesn't work that way. It's the same all the time. Truth is static. It is always the same. Two always comes after one, right? And so understanding that when truth, see, people have tactics, and those tactics that they have can be true for a time. But then if I operate from principles of truth, they don't ever change. The law of gravity, what goes up must come down. That's truth. It's not, yes, it's true, but it's not just true. It's truth. The law of momentum, an object in motion will continue in motion. It'll pick up speed and velocity until and unless it's acted upon by an outside force. The law of inertia, an object at rest will remain at rest until and unless it's acted upon by an outside force. So we have principles. Now, if we build our concepts, our constructs, our coaching, our consulting, our businesses, our lives on principles, then we can know that what we've built will stand the test of time.
100%, Myron. This is such a valuable. I just want to pause here for a second. I'm going to switch over my Wi-Fi in case there's a little interruption. I'm going to be back just so that we have more stability in our connection.
Okay.
But I think you're answering.
I'm hardwired.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to fix my end. But this is such a powerful tool you're sharing here. You can still hear me clearly?
I can hear you, but your video froze. I'm thinking it'll unfreeze here in a minute, though.
Yeah, it'll come back momentarily.
Okay.
So this is super powerful what I'm hearing here, because basically when we find the distinction between the truth and some true things, then we can sort of sell without selling, because for as long as we're speaking into the principles, into the truth of what's actually real, there's no sense of inauthenticity, there's no sliminess. There's no salesiness, right?
So let me can I address that for a hot second?
Yeah, please do.
So what you really want to do is you want to sell without, you don't want to sell without selling. You want to sell without yelling.
Yeah.
Right? You want to sell without telling.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that mean? So like people, one of the biggest problems I see in sales, period, like in sales as a whole, even in most people who sell, whether they sell real estate, whether they sell cards, they sell insurance, if they sell online courses, if they sell coaching, if they sell consulting, one of the biggest problems I see in the arena of sales is most people don't know what selling is. So sales is one of the most noble, most honorable professions in the world, even though some people misuse it. So most people, even people in sales, they don't understand what selling is. Selling is good. So people who say without being salesy, that's not really a good description. May I be so bold?
For sure.
Okay. So what we really mean is sales without being sleazy, but we've equated, if I say sales without being salesy, then I'm equating being salesy with sleazy. But salesy is the opposite of sleazy. See, selling is persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Selling is not convincing. I think this is probably one of the most important lessons anybody will ever learn about sales. Selling is not convincing. Now, what do I mean by that? See, if I attempt to convince you, Miro, if I attempt to convince you, then what I'm really doing is I'm attempting to get you to do something I desire you to do for my reasons. Right? But if I persuade you, I'm not attempting to get you to do something I desire you to do for my reasons. I'm helping you make a decision you already desire to make for your own reasons. That's real selling. See, selling serves at the highest level. Salespeople bring more joy into the world than almost any other profession. What do I mean? Do you remember the last time you bought a brand new pair of shoes and like you bought those shoes and you walked out of the store, you said like, I cannot wait to wear these shoes. I know exactly what I'm going to wear them with. Or you remember the first time you bought an exotic car, like you bought maybe your first Mercedes or Rolls or Bentley or Lamborghini or whatever, or maybe you just bought your Honda or a Ford, but it was your first new car and you were so excited. You remember when you bought your dream home, how excited you were? Sure. None of those transactions could have happened. That joy that came into your soul as a result of acquiring that thing could not have happened without somebody selling you to it. See, the reason we equate selling with convincing, which it's not, is because now this is going to change your life for the rest of your life if you'll let it.
Let's do it.
The reason we equate selling with sleaziness and high pressure and twisting people's arm and coercing and convincing and congealing is because the only sales experiences we remember are the bad ones. So instead of thinking of it as selling without selling, I like to think of it as seamless. I think, seamless.
Selling. I wouldn't know how to spell that word. Okay. You got it.
So seamless selling. And guess what? So I think I spelled it right, but if I didn't, I got this little spelling box up here. It's like spell check on a computer. We put A through Z in there. If I spell any word down here wrong, just take any letter from A to Z, put it where it goes. Together we can spell that word right. Okay, so seamless selling. What does that mean? That means when a good salesperson sells you something, they do a good job, it didn't feel like they sold it to you. It feels like you just bought it because you wanted it. But the reality is everything you've ever bought, bar none, everything you've ever spent money on, you bought it because somebody sold you on it. And you thought you bought it because it was your idea. But yeah, you weren't born with that idea. So where'd that idea come from? It came from somebody who was good at seamlessly selling.
Seamlessly selling.
Down? So what happens when I do a good job selling? See, the reason people feel like they have to convince and congeal and coerce and pressure people into buying is because they did not do a good job selling. When you, if I'm in a selling environment with you, if I'm in a selling relationship with you, and I've done my presentation And now you're like, I don't know. And now I've got to pressure. The reason I'm doing that is because I did not do a good job persuading you. I didn't. Remember what I said? Persuasion is when I help somebody make a decision they already desire to make for their own reasons. So if you're like, I did my whole presentation and you still don't want to buy, the reason you don't want to buy is maybe one, you really don't need the thing I'm selling. That's one potential reason, right? Yep. Two, I didn't do a good job finding out what your reasons are. So I'm trying to sell you for my reasons. There I am back to convincing again, right? Or I did not do a good job conveying how my offer is the bridge that can get you to the result you desire. Right? But when I do a good job selling, I can respect you. You know why? I don't have to talk you into buying. I don't have to pressure you. I can treat you like an intelligent human being instead of treating you like an idiot. Well, you're an idiot if you don't buy my. See, I can take all of the selling pressure off of you. I don't have to put any external from Myron selling pressure on you. And one of the phrases that I use when I'm selling is, if you're waiting for me to talk you into it, you're gonna be waiting a long time, because I'll talk you out of it before I'll talk you into it. See, I trust that people are smart.
People are smart.
Right? I trust that if I'm talking to somebody and attempting to sell them something and I don't believe they're smart, then I'm not very smart. Why am I trying to sell an idiot something that I sell? Like, I have to believe you're smart. I have to respect you, because if I don't respect you, then I don't respect me. And so what I do is I'll ask you questions to find out what you're really looking for. And then if the thing I have can help you get what you're really looking for, then I'll show you how it can help you get that. And if it can't, then I'm going to say, you know what? I don't think this is a fit for you. I don't have to make every sale. There's a difference between being hungry and being desperate. See, I like making sales. Like, I really enjoy closing sales. But I want everybody who I will ever close one-on-one or in a group to understand, as much as I love closing sales, you don't have to be one of them. Does that make sense?
It does. So, it does. Makes perfect sense.
So when I embrace selling as something beautiful, when I embrace selling at serving at the highest level, when I embrace selling as something I do out of a mutual respect for the person I'm selling to, and I will never stoop to convincing somebody to buy my offer, then and only then can I sell seamlessly without any selling pressure, because I've done such a good job uncovering the value. See, that goes back to my definition of sales. Selling is uncovering the value of what I have to offer so well that people are happy to exchange the money they have in their pocket for the value I've revealed. That's what selling is. Selling is not talking somebody into buying something they don't want, don't need, and can't afford.
For sure.
Does that make sense? Can you see the difference between what I'm talking about and what most people think of as selling?
Oh, 100%. So one of the frameworks that I teach inside of my programs is kind of the win-win-win formula, where it's like, if it's not a win for me and a win for them and a win for humanity, it's sort of the greater good, and there's no sale to be made, right? But when there is a win-win-win, then it's kind of a responsibility to, unlock the sort of mechanisms in their psychology so they can make a healthy decision for themselves, and feel empowered in that. So
absolutely,
yeah, that's spot on.
Absolutely. Like it's like I've got clients, like I think one of the reasons my clients respect me is because they know I respect them. And I'm not ever going to talk you into buying anything from me. So, but I don't have to. All I got to do is uncover the value. And most people, what they do, see, you can remember I said selling is uncovering the value of what I have to offer so well that people are happy to exchange the money they have in their pocket for the value I've revealed. But guess what? I can't uncover value to you until I uncover what's valuable to you. So I can't uncover value for you.
So how do you do that? That's a question I had earlier too. When, especially in a one-to-many, like in a stage environment, how do you grab it out, get it out of people, and engage with that information?
That's easy. Like if you're selling from stage and you're at an event, right? You're at an event. The name of the event, what the event is about, tells you what the people who paid money to be there value.
Fair. Yeah, that's
Right?
fair.
If I'm at a real estate event where people are learning how to sell real estate, I know the thing they want to do is sell more real estate. So I have to show them how my offer can help them sell more real estate. Let's say the tickets were $1,200 to be there. So I know they paid $1,200 to be here. I know they want to sell more real estate. If the seminar that I'm speaking at is a seminar on how to write books, I know everybody there wants to write books. So I'm going to make sure that I show them how whatever I'm selling, the offer that I have is going to help them sell more books. I know that if I am speaking to people who want to be speakers and they want to sell from the stage, then I have to make sure that my offer shows them how they can sell more from the stage. So,
Mm-hmm.
like the easiest, that's another reason why it's so easy to sell to groups than it is to sell one-on-one. I remember a couple of years ago, I went to a conference in Minnesota, and the guy that was putting on the conference, he had an offer that was a $4,000 offer. It wasn't big. It was just like a four. I mean, a lot of people consider that to be high ticket. That's not high ticket to me, but it is high ticket to some people. There was a time that was high ticket to me, right?
For
Okay.
sure.
But he was selling a $4,000 offer, and he did his pitch like wrong, as my dad would say, it was wrong 4 ways from Sunday, right? So when he did his offer, he had like 90 people in the room, maybe 40, 50 buying units. He had husbands, wives, children, etc. So he may have had 40, 50 buying units. He did his offer and made one sale. Then he had somebody else who was in a networking group of ours do a repitch for him, which is when they get up and attempt to resell what he attempted to sell, and then nobody bought. So then it was my turn to repitch, and I got up on stage and I talked to them for about an hour and 15 minutes. And I told him before I went up there, I said, don't worry, bro, I got you. We'll do somewhere between 20 and 40 sales, and you're going to be fine. He's like, okay, Myron, thank you. Okay, I hope you can. And I know he probably thought I was out of my mind. Well, he didn't close. These other people who had sold a business for over $10 million already, they didn't do it. So what makes me think I'm going to close sales? Well, I understand how to sell people what they want to buy. I'm not selling them what I want to sell them. So I got on stage, talked for about an hour and 15 minutes. I did a close. I called all the people who wanted to buy up on stage, and we closed 21 people on his $4,000 offer. And one of those people was his mom. Right? And this guy went to Russell. Russell Brunson was there also. This guy went to Russell and said, Russell, my mom doesn't buy stuff from me, but she bought my program from him, because I understand how to communicate to people the value that they are seeking and show them how the thing that I am offering can get them to that result.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Super well done. So amazing. Well, I guess to your point then, in this group, there are many are looking to create high ticket clients. And, clearly, by now people realize like having an audience, being on stages, doing events is a really, really good way to do that. And how do you bring some of these techniques into some of this truth into the forefront of your marketing, where people are kind of enrolled before joining your calls, or even how to get people into your events, right? Butts and seats is a big challenge for event people. So can you speak into that?
Yeah. So what's really interesting, one of the most interesting questions I get from people when they get started as an entrepreneur, like I'm just getting started, nobody knows who I am. Like, where do I find the people to sell to? You're asking the wrong question. Stop looking for people to sell stuff to, and start making yourself findable for people who want to buy stuff.
Make yourself findable for people who want to buy stuff. I like that.
Especially for people who want to buy what you sell. So how do you make yourself findable? Well, you got to have stuff out there. So one of the things that I do is I create what I call community service content. So, and what I mean by community service content, so that means number one, the content is high value. How high? So high that if I wanted to, I could sell it to them.
Oh yeah, I can relate to that. Like in this group, I've made some of the trainings I've paid $10,000 for. I started just adding free trainings, made free trainings, and allow people to have that in this group. So I'm with you 100%.
So you gotta create, like, you have to have a YouTube channel that has high value content on it, so people can find you. And you have to be answering the questions that people have in their mind. People are going through life with all these questions. How do I make my life work? How do I make more money? How can I retire early? How can I spend more time with my family? How can I take better vacations? Like, there are so many there are so many questions people, if you can figure out a way to answer the prevailing questions that people have in their mind and do it on public forums like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and you create these really valuable posts. Like the posts that we create on social media require a relatively good amount of work. Oh, there's that word again. That 4-letter word that a lot of people want to avoid. It's work, but it's work to make yourself findable, to go from Myron who to the Myron Golden. It requires work, right? And one of the things that you should do, not you, Miro, but everybody, Google your name. If you don't show up on the first page of Google at least once, then you're not providing enough value in the marketplace because you're not findable. Okay?
That's a valuable.
So that's number one, high value. 2, answer questions. Like you want to answer their questions, right? And 3, you want to be consistent. 4, this is huge. Huge. Don't be a big shot. I cannot emphasize that enough. Don't be a big shot. Don't make people look like fools. Don't tell people off. Don't talk down to people. If somebody asks you a question on your Instagram page, on your Facebook page, on a YouTube video, answer them. I'm going to have my team answer. Team, you're just getting started. Answer them yourself. I mean, I have a team. Like we've got like all together 12, 14 people on our team, right? I've got employees on my team. I got subcontractors on my team. I got people on retainer on my team. I got different people doing different things. But when it comes time, when somebody asks me a question on Instagram, I answer them. Like that's now I have friends that don't have my phone number, right? My family can reach me. My really close friends have my phone number, but here's what's really interesting. I was just talking to one of my clients today. He just bought one of my high ticket masterminds. He just bought my $155,000 mastermind, right?
Nice.
And I played golf with him before, and he's coming to my speaker training next week to learn how to sell from stage. But he's like, I said, you're going to have an advantage over everybody else at the speaker training next week because the day after it's over, we're going to go play golf together. And I don't usually talk business on the golf course. The people who I play golf with, they kind of know that I'm do something where that's relatively noteworthy. But the people I play golf with that just live around here in Tampa, they're just my friends I play golf with. They don't ask me business questions. They don't ask me for free advice. I don't play golf with clients because I don't want people asking me for free advice. I charge $25,000 an hour for coaching for a reason, right? But if somebody asks me a question on Instagram or Facebook or on a YouTube video and I see it, if they ask me a question on Instagram, I'm going to see it because I check those messages every day. Facebook, it takes me a little bit longer because the platform's so confusing. It may not be confusing. It's confusing to me. Okay. So don't be a big shot. Like, keep it real with your peeps, man. And if you will make yourself findable, provide high value content, be consistent, like whether it be in a Facebook group, whether it be on your Facebook page, whether it be on your Instagram page, whether it be on your YouTube channel, or all of the above, if you will do that, I'm telling you, what can happen for you will be mind-blowing because people will start sharing your content. But you know what's really amazing? Like I've got an ad running right now. It's a lead generation ad, but it's more than that. It's like a make myself findable ad on Facebook, right?
And it's like I think I saw one of your ads. It's just like a training basically where you give massive value.
Exactly. And there are people who commented on that video. I got more value from this ad than I get from a lot of trainings.
Yeah.
Right. And the last time I looked, my ad had 45 shares. 45 people shared my ad. Right. Well, I want you to wrap your mind around. That's what I mean when I say high value content. You want to put content out there so good that people would not have been disappointed had they paid for it. So make yourself findable. That's one of the things you want to do when you get started. The other thing you want to do for yourself, you got to do this yourself. You have to go deep. What does that mean? Be a student. You have to be a student. Like I've got maybe thousands. I've got hundreds of books, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I've got literally thousands of audios and videos, and that's not an exaggeration. I'm not saying that, that's not hyperbole, thousands of courses, right? And I haven't gone through all of them yet. Some of them I bought as reference material, but I've gone through a lot of them, and I am always listening to an audiobook, always reading a physical book, always going through a course. There's never a day in my life where I am not a student. Why? Because I have to go deep. Why? Because I cannot teach what I do not know, and I cannot lead where I will not go. Some people, they want to be a coach and they haven't read a book in 15 years. How you gonna coach somebody? You don't know nothing. So anyway, I got a little Myrantish there.
I love that. No, I love that. There's so much value bombs in there on all of what you're saying. So going deep. So I think maybe addressing something too, just to say it out loud, I think many people still struggle with the so-called imposter syndrome, and I think that a lot of what you discussed there helps with that, and just to make yourself valuable, create valuable content, actually show up consistently, help people, and focus on those things. But what is your common response? I mean, I'm sure this is an issue you've heard about, So what is your go-to response when people say, well, I need to have more experience, or like I'm not good enough yet kind of story? What would you say to those kind of people?
Well, first question I'd ask is, how old are you? Right? How old are you? Well, I'm 36. How much longer do you have to live to get more experience? I mean, you know how to do something. Start where you are. When I started coaching, the only business skill that I had was network marketing. That's it. So you know what I did? I started, and I wasn't the greatest network marketer in the world when I started coaching network marketers. I was just greater than 90% of the network marketers out there. The most I'd ever made when I started coaching network marketers, the most I'd ever made in network marketing was $7,000. But there were millions of people in network marketing that had never made 700.
Yep. And that's so key, because so many people are thinking, well, I'm not Myron Golden yet, right? So I'm not there yet. And so therefore, what do I have to give? But there's so many people who would die to just know what you know right now with what you have, right?
I believe that before Oprah, quote, discovered Rachel Ray, if somebody would have told her, you're going to become a multimillionaire just because you know how to cook and all you have to do is turn a camera on, she'd have said, get out of here. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard, right? Rachel Ray wasn't the first woman in the history of the world to know how to cook, but she figured out a way to monetize the fact that she could cook by turning the camera on, tasting the food, and being really animated. So here's what's really, you mentioned something called imposter syndrome. It's really a fascinating concept to me. Like, imposter or what? Like, here's where imposter syndrome comes from. The formula for life, for high achievement in life, is this: be, do, have. You only have imposter syndrome when you're pretending to be able to do something that you've not yet become a person who can do it yet. So become the person who can do the thing, and there is no more imposter. If you focus on the becoming, the doing happens naturally. Like a lot of people, I was talking to one of my coaching clients this morning, and we were talking about, like, I don't hustle or grind. Right? I would rather ebb and flow than hustle or grind, right? Because in nature, things don't hustle and grind. Animals hustle and grind. I get that. But like a river doesn't hustle or grind. And a tree doesn't hustle or grind. What does a tree have to do to grow apples? What does a tree have to do to grow apples? It has to be an apple tree. After that, the doing takes care of itself. If you will be or become the person, you will be able to do the thing, and it will be impossible for you not to have the stuff. The problem is we got so many people trying to have without the willingness to do. And we have so many people attempting to do, and they've not yet become the person. You start with be, you will be able to do, and when you are able to do, then you are deserving to have. You can't skip the steps.
100%.
How God set it up in the beginning. So
that's such a truth bomb right there. And two, the having of things are often not as fulfilling in the end as the doing of it and the process of it and the becoming journey.
The becoming is the most fulfilling, but the fuel for the becoming is the having. See, God put in us a desire to have a nicer, better experience of life. He put in us a desire to be progressively productive. And then what we do is we attempt to do something to fulfill that, and we bump our head on our inability. so that we would finally yield to becoming the thing that he desires most for us, to becoming the person he desires for us to become. And then when I become that person, now all of a sudden I can do that thing with ease. And then I have all that stuff, and there's no hustle, there's no grind, there's just ebb and flow, ebb and flow, ebb and flow, sowing and reaping.
You're so spot on to speak into this specifically, because a large group of my clients currently are like all about surrendered service and stopping having to hustle, like tired of the grinding sort of mentality. Not lazy by any means, but just sort of burned out from having to do all of the things, and keeping things simple, being more than being, focusing on self-care. And so this is why this is super spot on. One of the questions I want to ask, many of my clients are now in this phase where they want to start launching their own masterminds. So this is their super high ticket offer. Well, compared to what they're sold before, super high ticket offers. And so I'd love to know a little bit, like maybe perhaps how you structure or how you teach people to structure their masterminds. What is your mindset around, like your philosophy around masterminds themselves? Some people think that it's just like, I am the mastermind, I have the brains, come to me and like, you know, have access to my brain at these sort of intervals. And then others are just about the people in the group. And then there's a combination of both. But I'd just love to know your philosophy on putting masterminds together.
So any business I start, so I've got over here, I've got this is the market. This is the marketplace, right? That's the marketplace. This is me. If I start my business here, it's going to turn into a disaster. I have to start my business here. So what I teach people to do is, when you're starting your business, don't think of the marketplace, think from the marketplace. What do these people want? What are they seeking? What do they desire? What are their pain points? If I can have a high enough level of empathy, this is going to be one of my greatest allies. When I can not just say it, but when I can actually feel your pain. That is going to be one of my greatest allies as an entrepreneur. Why? Because when I can feel your pain, then I can speak to it, and I can talk to you about things you're already talking about. So when people are creating a high ticket offer, the mistakes that I see them make are, number one, they think they don't understand the value of their offer. They think the value of their offer is in their pieces. What do I mean? Well, it's got so many workbooks, so many videos, so many audios, so access to Facebook group. Okay, they think that the value of their offer is in the pieces. And so what they do is they give you a whole bunch of pieces, bunch of books, bunch of videos, bunch of audios, Facebook group, blah, blah, blah. They give you all this stuff, all these books to read, all these videos to watch, but one of the things you have to understand, people who buy premium products, experiences, coaching, whatever, they don't want a bunch of minutia to wade through. When it comes to high ticket offers, more is not better, faster is better. Okay? So one of the things that people who buy high ticket are buying, they're buying speed. They want a result fast, okay? So it's not about your pieces. Number two, don't sell your pieces as your value. If you do this, people are going to look at that and they're going to say, I don't know if that I want to do all that. So don't sell that. That's not the value of your offer. The value of your offer is not your process. Man, if you show them your process when you're selling, well, what we're going to do on day one is we're going to go through this process, this process, this process, this process, then we're going to go through the other. Like, I'm going to look at you and think, I don't want to do all that. So, and I certainly don't want to pay somebody then have to do all that. Now, the reality is you may have all the pieces and you may have this process and all of that may be good, but if that's the presentation, people are not buying. Now, here's the one shocker. This is why it doesn't matter how much experience you have. The value of your offer is not your person. And here's how most people equate selling their person. You get so many hours of my time. Now what you've done is you've basically went out and sold a job. Because now your time is connected to their result. Now, truth be told, in my $155,000 mastermind, people get 1 hour. They get 1 hour of my time. Over what period of time? A year.
Damn.
People say, well, that's not fair. Well, it all depends on what you value, right? In my $55,000 mastermind, people get, they don't get any hours of my time. They get access to me through, they can ask me questions through Voxer. Now, if somebody asks me a question and I think their question requires me to answer, I can answer it faster over a Zoom call, I'll do a Zoom call with them. But that's not like a person buys my $55,000 or $155,000 mastermind. They buy my $55,000. There's no guarantee that they will ever have a conversation with me other than when they come to the event. I'm not saying that you need to do it this way, but there's a strategic reason I do this way. I'm going to explain it to you here in a minute. So somebody buys my $155,000 mastermind. They get one Destiny in a Day call with me. It's 1 hour. They can do a half an hour before they come to a training, half an hour after they come to the training. After that, it's all Voxer questions. They can send me Google Docs on email, and I'll respond to those. But I am not selling you my time. If you want to buy my time, it's $25,000 an hour. We ain't going there. You don't want to go there, right?
Because you want to.
Now you can spend 3 hours with me, and you already spent more than my lower ticket mastermind. Right? So this is not. So what if I'm not selling the pieces? I'm not selling the process. I'm not selling my person. What am I selling? The only value, the only value of your offer is the payoff. That is the only thing you should be selling. What does that mean, Myron? Well, the payoff is generally going to have to do with speed, freedom, having a choice, some access. I'll put some access. But the main thing that they want, and they want a speedy result. So the fewer things, the fewer obstacles, the fewer objectives, the fewer tasks that I put between them and their desired result, the more valuable it is. So that's what I mean when I say more is not better, faster is better. So what do? If I'm teaching people how to sell high ticket from the stage, I help people have, now here, tell me this isn't valuable. I help people have 6 and 7 figure days faster than anyone.
Boom.
That's the value of my offer.
That's a really powerful statement.
Like I had a homeschool mom, dude. Listen, I want you to think about this. She's a homeschool mom. Her husband's driving Uber. She wants to buy my coaching package back when it was like 40 grand, right? She wanted to buy my coaching offer. She had put $2,000 down, and then she had to pay. If I'm going to finance it, you got to pay half up front. So she had to come up with $18,000 more, and then to pay the rest off in weekly payments. And she's a homeschool mom. She wasn't making $40,000 a year, but she wants to buy my $40,000 coaching program. She thought she was going to be able to borrow the money. She wasn't able to borrow. She thought she was going to be able to get out of family trust. She wasn't able to get out of family trust. She called me on the phone. She said, Myron, I really want to get your offer, but I don't have the money. I tried this, and this. None of it worked. What do I do? And I gave her my formula. I said, you want to learn how to collapse time frames. You already have an offer. You need to raise the price of your offer. Like, do a limited time, get it for the price it is now, make more offers, take the number of offers you would ordinarily do in a year, do that many offers in a month, take the number of offers you ordinarily do in a month, do that many offers in a week, take the number of offers you do in a week, do that many offers every day, take the number of offers you do every day, do that number of offers every hour of every day for the next month, and in 30 days, you'll have the $18,000 you need. She called me in 6 days and said, Myron, I have the money. 6 days.
Boom.
Now, wow, that's powerful, but watch what happens next. She comes to my training where I teach how to sell from the stage. She comes to the training. She has her event planned for 2 weeks after that event. She does her event. I want you to wrap your mind around this.
Let's do it.
Homeschool mom.
She
has no job. 12 people show up. So back when we could still do physical events, right? Okay, 12 people show up. She did $108,000 in sales in 2 days. Her life has never been the same. She is now one of the most in-demand coaches in the world. She made $500,000-$600,000 last year. She met me in 2018.
Nice. So that's the magic of having a high ticket offer and then making offers like crazy.
That's exactly right. And it's also the result of understanding the real value of your offer. Okay, so can I give you another example that's not a money-making offer? Because
let's do it.
Because some people say, but my offer's not. I don't teach people how to make money, Myron. I teach people how to lose weight, or I teach people how to not have anxiety, or it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Watch this. I'm gonna find a book over here by one of my students. I think
we have a lot of healers in this group too. We have speakers, coaches, healers who do like energy healing and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I thought it was over here, but I don't see it. So one of my students, she teaches people. I want you to wrap your mind around how, because we call make money offer a hard offer, right? Like that's measurable, right?
Yeah.
So
casual.
She had a soft offer, one of the softest of soft offers I've ever seen, actually. And she and I were speaking at an event together. And she says to me, she says, Myron, she says, I've got an event coming up in 2 weeks. Do you have any tips for me? I said, it all depends. I said, what are you selling? She said, I'm not selling anything. I said, is it okay if I coach you? She said, sure. I said, that's the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. She said, she's got 170 people coming to this event and she's not selling them anything. I said, well, what are you going to do if you're not selling anything? She said, well, I created this 70-page manual. We're just going to work through the manual during the workshop. I said, can I coach you some more? She said, sure. I said, that's the second worst idea I've ever heard in my life. It's horrible. So now I'm going to tell you what she does. She teaches people how to get control over alcohol. That's not, I teach you how to quit drinking. That's not, I'm going to get you on the wagon. That's not, I teach you how to have control over alcohol. That's like, right? This is not a straight line, right? I teach you how to control over alcohol. So I said, here's what you do. It just so happens that I've got my speaker training coming up next week. This is what I told her, right? I've got my speaker training coming up next week. This is 2 weeks before her. This is the week before her event. I've got my speaker training. I said, what you should do is you should buy this $55,000 training from me, right? And you should come next week. But I haven't been home for a week and my kids are home with the babysitter and I don't know. No, I get that. But you do, I'll show you how to make it worth their while. But you want to make this event transformational for your people. You got to sell them something. Because if their money's not in it, their heart's not in it. I don't sell people high ticket just so I can make money. I was just talking to one of my clients today. Like, my money makes me thousands of dollars per day. $6,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, sometimes $40,000, $50,000. My money makes me every day. I don't need to work. I don't need to sell anybody anything. Right? Okay. But I do like selling. And so I was telling her, I told her, I said, you come to this training, you do your event, you got 170 people there. I said, worst case scenario, this is what's going to happen for you. And a lot of people can't do this. A lot of people don't, like, I already know what our numbers are for people who use the systems that I teach. She told me she got 170 people already coming to this event from all over the world. I said, you come to my training, here's what's going to happen. You're going to go do your event. Worst case scenario, you're going to do $1,000 a head. Worst case scenario, you're going to do $170,000 in sales at that event. Worst case. She's like, that doesn't make any sense. What am I going to sell them? I said, you take that 70-page manual, you turn it into a coaching program, and you sell that. She said, how much should I sell it for? Like she had no clue about any of this stuff. How much should I sell it for? I said, how much would you have to sell it for to make it worth your while? She said, I don't know, $4,000. I said, okay, sell it for $6,000. She's like, what? Myron, they'll hate me. No, they're going to love you.
For sure.
So she paid me the money, came to my class, went and did her event. She called me like overwhelmed with exuberance people were coming to her, thanking her in tears for creating this coaching program. And she went from, I'm going to do this event, 170,000 people. I'm going to lose $50,000 because that's how much it was going to cost her to put on the event, to go through her workbook with people. But instead, she sold them a $6,000 coaching program. She did $264,000 in sales.
That's
instead
amazing.
of losing 50,000.
Right.
It's a soft offer that's not a make money offer, because I showed her how to show them how much it's costing not to have that result.
Yeah. It's the cost of inaction. It's so powerful.
Yes. And so we got story after story after story. We got people, we literally have people who thought doing live events was a waste of time, took my training and had $1 million day. So and I'm not saying that I'm some magician or something. I just understand how value is created and what people are looking for, and I help them find what they're looking for, and I give them the opportunity to pay me for it. And I teach other people how to do the same thing. So
powerful. So one of the things that comes up for me is like, and I know this is a common issue with buyers, right? The kind of like trust objection. I teach the MATA model. It's like money, authority, time, trust, ego. And then relationship, it's kind of like when people know where you come from, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So it's not an objection as much as it is a principle. But so with those, I'm finding that the trust objection is like the biggest one. They're like, I don't know that I can do it, or I don't know if it's going to work for me. So how do you manage that? And then along those lines too, what is your mindset around accountability? There's many people who say, I've taken all these courses and I didn't finish them, and so they don't believe that they're going to be able to get the result. How do you deal with that?
The answer to both of those things is the same. So I'm after this, let's go into a Q&A because I've got to eat something. I've got another call coming up. Is that fair?
Perfect. That sounds great.
So I'm going to answer this. So the trust issue is always around the concept of confidence. Let's go into a Q&A. People don't have confidence. Okay? So why don't people have confidence? Well, what is the root word of confidence? What's the root, what's the root word of confidence?
I'm not sure. Confide.
And what does confide mean? Confide, when you confide in someone, that means you trust them. So the reason people don't have confidence is because they don't trust themselves. And the reason they don't trust themselves is because they've broken their word to themselves so many times in the past that they can't believe a word they say. See, one of the things I realized is that people don't see you through their eyes. They see you through your eyes. And if you're having a hard time trusting yourself, you are conveying to other people that they're going to have a hard time trusting you. Does that make sense? So what you want to do...
So say that again slowly for slow people. You're saying that if people have a hard time... Say it again.
So the reason people don't have confidence is because they don't trust themselves. The reason they don't trust themselves is because they've broken their word to themselves so many times in the past that they can't believe a word they say. I said, well, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And then they don't do it. They go watch TV instead. They say, I'm going to go to such. And then they don't go. They do X, Y, Z instead. Well, I'm going to start working out every day. And they work out every day for 3 days. And then they quit. As soon as it becomes hard, they're so used to letting themselves off the hook. But there's a concept in the East called called a covenant. And this word covenant means to cut. Why? Because if two people got ready to enter into a covenant together, they would both come, they would bring an animal. They'd both come and they'd bring an animal. They'd kill their animal. They'd cut it up in pieces here on the ground. Then what they would do is they would walk around in a circle around this animal. That guy would walk this way. They're face to face. They're back to back. They walk around this way. And now they are face to face. Takes a knife in this hand, cuts this hand, takes a knife in that hand, cut their hand. They put their hands together. Their blood becomes one blood. They exchange covenant names. Like, let's say it's me and you. We're doing this covenant. This is me. This is you. My name becomes Myron Miro Golden. Your name becomes Myron Our names are really similar anyway. That's really interesting.
Loving
What's
it.
your last name?
It's Hayink.
How do you spell
So
that?
it's spelled Hey as in hey, INK as in ink.
Okay, Hank. So
Mhm.
we exchange covenant names, but we also exchange covenant promises. And here's the covenant promise. I'm going to give everything I have. I'm going to give my time, my effort, my energy, my wealth, and my life, if necessary, to protect you and yours. And if I
Mhm.
don't keep my word that's coming out of my mouth, if I don't keep my word to you, may what happened to this animal happen to me.
Mhm.
So I am making you a promise on my life. If I'm lying, I'm dying.
Mhm.
Okay? That's called a covenant. And the word covenant means to cut. Well, guess what? There's another word that means to cut.
Decision.
Decision.
Boom. Yeah.
And when a person makes a real decision, they cut themselves off from every other possibility. See, day, the prefix day means of or from. Like an incision, you cut into the body.
Yeah.
Right? Suicide, you cut off your life. Decide,
Mhm.
I cut myself off from every other possibility. In other words, when I give my word to myself, I will die, and I would rather die in honor than live in dishonor. So when I say I'm going to do something, it's not just I'm going to do it, it's do for me. When I say I'm going to do something, for me, it's do or die. And until your
Mhm.
word becomes so important to you that you're do or die, you will never trust yourself.
Wow. So you put
I had
everything
a
on the
guy,
line. Go ahead.
this guy that just bought my coaching program. So, like, my brother, but it wouldn't matter if it was my brother or not. But my sales guy is my brother Jeff, my older brother. He sells for us. And the guy who just bought our coaching program, like, I played golf with him. He called me the other day. He said, "Hey, Myron, do you have a quick minute? I'm going through something. I just need some help." So I called him over Facebook. We're talking. He said, "Can I just buy your program from you right now?" Not in 100,000 years. I'm not going to do that. Not There won't ever be a time. I used to do network marketing, and when I did network
Mm.
marketing, one of the things that I hated was when the company ownership would go into competition with its distributors for the same dollars. I could have sold him that course, and I wouldn't have had to pay my brother, my sales guy, a commission. I could have just saved that money. The money's not worth it. I am never going to undercut, because then I wouldn't be able to trust myself. He wouldn't be able to, because that would be underhanded. I know it would be underhanded.
Mhm.
I don't care how much money I can save. I don't care how much he tries to talk me. I want to buy, though. I don't care if you want to buy. I'm not selling it to you. You have to go through
Mhm.
my process. And I'm not gonna undercut my sales guy, whether it's my brother or somebody else. Somebody works. I'm not gonna undercut somebody who works for me so I can save a few dollars. We're not doing it.
Mhm.
And make you feel good. No, it's not happening. And you're not going to circumvent my process. Because if I let you circumvent my process, I'll let somebody else circumvent my process, and then I don't trust myself again. See, my word is do or die. I
Mhm.
trust me because I know I'm going to do the right thing based on principles, not based on situational ethics. So anyway.
Mhm. So that's super powerful. People are loving this. Ask your questions now, friends. This is super great. People are getting a lot of engagement on this.
And
So to,
over the next couple of days, as I have time, I'll come in and look at some of these questions, and if I can answer them, I will. But
amazing. Super appreciate that.
so
Super.
let's take 3 questions. Let's take 3 questions. Then I've got to eat dinner.
All right, you're doing overtime, so I appreciate that. Myron just blew my mind. Sometimes you just have to hear something you already know said in a different way for it to have an aha moment. That's what Kimberly says. She's loving that. Valdas is watching from 1 a.m. wherever the hell he is, and he
1
says I'm
a.m.
dying and I can't take.
It's probably like in Australia or somewhere.
He says it's amazing value here. It's 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm dying and I can't take my eyes away from the screen. This is a must watch for the community, is what Candace says. She's a member of my team. Shout out to Candace. They're tagging people. People are loving this right now. I don't see any questions. Oh, here's the questions. How many events do you host in a year? How many do you speak at? And then that's what Kimberly asked. How many events do you host? And then the other one, and how many do you speak at? And the other question is from Biagio, my brother. He says, when someone looks gimmicky, how do you deal with that? So maybe you have to elaborate on that question a little bit, Biagio. But
Yeah,
yeah, so
elaborate on
there are a couple.
so how many events do I do per year? It just depends on the year. This year, this year I did one virtual event. I mean, one live event, and then like events where I'm selling. So I do two different kinds of events. I do fulfillment events. I do events where I'm selling. Okay. So selling events, I'll do anywhere from 6 to 12 events a year where I'm actually selling. Events where I'm fulfilling, I'll do anywhere from 6 to 8 fulfillment events per year. So I've got my speaker training fulfillment event. It's 2 days. I do that about every 6 to 8 weeks, where I'm teaching people to sell from stage. Then for the people who are part of my $155,000 mastermind, it also includes a high ticket sales training, like one-on-one sales training. It's called Mouth to Millions, premium value market selling. And I show people how to sell into premium value markets. My ideology. I don't know a lot of coaches. Like my highest level program is $1 million, and we actually sell that program. So I don't know, like people talk about high ticket and they're talking about $3,000, $4,000, $5,000.
Wait, did you say you have $1 million program?
I do. I have $1 million coaching program where I take somebody from, if they're making, and I only let somebody buy it if they're making $2 or $3 million a year. They pay $1 million, and then I coach them, and we do a coaching call every week, because it requires a lot of hands-on. But my objective is to get them to $10 million a year in 12 months. And I've already got stuff. We've got help get to $10 million a year. So that's like, if I said to you, if I'll sell you this $10 bill for $1, would you say yes? Of course. I'll sell you this $1,000. I'll sell you $1,000 for $100. Who's going to take that deal? Everybody's going to take the deal, right? I'll sell you $10,000 for $1,000. Everybody's going to take that deal. Well, if it makes sense at a small number, it makes more sense at a high number. Which, by the way, I forgot to cover, since we're talking about high ticket offers. For me, the criteria of any high ticket offer I sell, I have to have a level of confidence. Like I know above all knowing that if people will do what I say in my training, they're going to 10x their investment in any high ticket coaching program that I sell them. And if I can't help them 10x their investment in 1 year and do that without them having to wade through a whole lot of minutia, then my offer's not tight enough.
Amazing. So we got some clarification on the question, and I want to throw in a question myself, if I may. The question I have about being process oriented. I know that I'm guessing, right? So if you have a system, so like you can only bring the level of confidence to your offer to the level that somebody is willing to follow the process step by step, right?
Right.
Is that fair? Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so for me, like, for instance, like if you want, like somebody could say, well, Myron, how much would you charge if I just come spend the day with you? If you spent the day, depends on what day. If you mean 4 hours, then it's $100,000. If it's 8 hours, then it's $200,000. Like it's $25,000 an hour, right? And people say, well, how can you charge somebody that much? Easy. It's my time, and when I give it to you, I don't get it back. So I have to value it. If I don't value it, you're not going to value it. And if I don't charge you for it, you're not going to do what I tell you to do anyway. So what I've done is I've figured out a way to give people a lot of value and to come spend 2 days with me without having to pay me $400,000 by giving a whole bunch of people the opportunity to come and take advantage of the same training at the same time. So I
love that. So that's a great frame that's your event, I'm guessing, right?
Yes.
That's great.
That's
awesome. And so
I have two 2-day events. One, Mouth to Millions. The other one, Stage Selling Secrets.
Awesome. And so I'm guessing one of the questions then, where do we get access to that, right?
Say that again.
Where do we get access to learn more about the Mouth to Millions event?
You can go apply. Go to stagesellingSecrets.com. That's the only place we have to apply. And Mouth to Millions is a part of my mid-tier program, which is called King Solomon's Wisdom Inner Circle, where I teach you the business model of King Solomon over a 12-month time period. And he was the wealthiest man who ever lived. If he were alive today with the wealth he had back then, he would be worth multiple trillions of dollars. And it's really interesting that in the Bible, like it shows that King Solomon had one offer that was like $200 million in today's dollars. Like I can show, it's mind blowing. Like I did the research myself. I'm not talking about what I heard somebody say. I did the research myself.
That's super exciting. That lights me up right there. So, okay, cool. We got some other questions. I want to honor them. So Valdas is from Estonia. Your guess was in the right direction, but it was not quite Australia.
Yeah. Exactly.
Biagio was saying that gimmicky meaning shiny object type thing. I think where he's coming from is, there's a lot of gurus, or people have different things to offer, and like, how do you know that you can like this is the right choice for you. But I think that's kind of where he's coming from.
You have to know your outcome. You have to know the result that you desire to get. Find somebody who's getting that result, and then pay them to teach it to you. That's that's it in a nutshell. Find somebody who's producing the result you desire to produce, pay them as much as they charge to teach it to you. That's it.
Yeah. It's as simple as that. Dude, Myron, you crushed it. I really appreciate all the value you drop. People are loving this. I think this is all the questions we have right now. We'll look forward to, when people drop questions from the replay as they tune in later. I will make sure that many people will see this. We'll make sure that,
and like from time to time, if I haven't answered, if you can just send me a message, I'll jump in there when I can and answer as many questions as I can.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Super appreciate it.
Oh, by the way, if somebody wants to reach out to me directly and ask me a question, Instagram. I'm at Myron Golden. Instagram at Myron Golden.
At Myron Golden. Awesome. Big thank you, Myron. This is such a valuable. I'm such an honor. We'll have you back soon, hopefully.
All right, Miro. Thank you. Have a great day, y'all.
Bye for now.